Greetings one and all, this is Riddimworks and welcome to my channel, and today I've got my good old mate, my good old maca, Pemby66. Say hello to the people and let the people know I'm not talking to myself right now.
Hi there, Pemby66 here, HD Gaming.
With a mouthful of sandwich and a cup of tea. Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I'll try to eat it quicker.
It's all right, mate. It's all right. Go ahead. I'm gonna talk while you do your munching, so to speak. But anyway, we've been talking about a subject that is gonna come up for a lot of people, and by the very nature of how we're basically bringing this subject about is the actual subject matter itself. It is about the next gen gaming consoles and game capture, how it's going to be done, how much of it is going to be allowed to be done, etc, etc, etc. If you Google PS4 connectors, you will come across a picture actually showing all the connections for the back of the console. One of the connections is obviously the mains, the other is the optical connection, the third one is the HDMI, the fourth is the LAN for the internet, and the fifth is the auxiliary, which is basically the connector for the camera. Now I'm capturing my gameplays and my discussions and whatever I happen to upload to YouTube using Elgato, so I can only relate this to my game capture software. So I looked up the FAQs on the Elgato website, and it basically states this question: will Elgato Game Capture HD support the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One? At this time, we do not know if or how Elgato Game Capture HD will work with the HDMI output of next generation consoles. If their output is encrypted with HDCP, which stands for High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection, then Elgato Game Capture HD will not be able to capture that content via HDMI. If their output is not encrypted, then Elgato Game Capture HD should be able to capture content much like it does with the Xbox 360. We can make educated guesses about what might happen to or with next generation consoles, but we will not fully know how their video output will work until they are actually released and available in stores. At that time, Elgato will purchase them and test them with Elgato Game Capture HD to confirm all aspects of compatibility. Now that to me basically states, you know, what we already know, obviously, and you know, until they get their hands on the console, they're not going to know what to do with it as well, because from the reveal, quote unquote, at E3, you know, we only had the privilege and the luxury of seeing the controller. I mean, even with the controller that had the share function, that kind of done it for me anyway, because it just told me, okay, Sony is now capturing the game capture market, and they're going to make it hard for any third-party game capture software to muscle in, because you got to check it. I mean, you know, Sony had never had the advantage of recouping from all the game capture footage that was being put on YouTube and Facebook for many years and what have you. And also, it's not just gameplay that has been utilized, it's also, you know, movies and music and all that kind of stuff, you know. So it's a pirateer's dream, you know, to utilize their game capture software in that way. But the reason why I have my good friend Pemby in on this discussion is because, you know, being the perfectionist that he is, he's a very big stickler on quality, you know, audio wise and video wise as well. And you know, in terms of recording gameplay, you know, he, as well as a lot of other people, has devised a way to actually bypass the whole HDMI thing by, you know, utilizing a tool called Bandicam. Now, the question I want to basically put to you, Pemby, is this, and I ask this question with this worry in mind, because of the fact that Sony has now implemented the share function. Obviously there are going to be people who want to bypass that whole thing, and there are videos that are basically describing ways of doing exactly the same thing what you're doing, and it's not even a problem you actually getting the stuff recorded and indeed put up on YouTube. But my thing is that it's the legality of the whole situation, because we're entering a new phase and a new corner in next gen gaming. With Sony implementing the share function, I don't think they would want to implement the share function and have that being a underused function when everybody's going to be using shortcuts and, dare I say, illegal measures to get their footage put up on YouTube, because I think that can actually compromise both your channels, both your PSN channel account rather, and also your YouTube account. So what says you about, you know, the limitations that Sony are putting in place in relation to game capturing for the next generation?
Well, obviously, it's got to be down to Sony and Microsoft to make their sharing function worth it to the YouTuber, because the big gaming scene on YouTube, you know, you record your gameplay because you've got total control. It looks like they're taking that away. You know, I just think it's they don't think as gamers, do they? They don't think as YouTubers. They just, this whole sharing thing, I don't think they've done really the homework enough, because like you say, the way I record, I could probably still record a PS4 in HDMI onto my computer the way I do with Bandicam. But I think from a legal point of view, you know, I'd probably get my wrist slapped for doing it, and my YouTube account suspended. I think it, you know, it could be that serious, because obviously with them implementing this share function, that's them saying to me, right, you share it, but only on our conditions. Yeah, you try doing what you're trying to do, and we'll ban your ass. You know what I mean?
Which kind of it kind of leads me to ask the question, well, for the very fact that that's basically in place, and Sony being, I don't know, how can I say this without, no, in fact, you know, Sony being a company that's motivated by income and capital, based upon the capital that they missed out on. That's a long way of saying greedy, but
don't miss out on much, did it?
It's a long way of saying
sitting in the park, they could make money on that.
I was trying to choose a long way of saying greedy, but hey, you know, it's what it is. But in terms of like real big channels that have been, you know, active and, you know, has been in partnership with all the, you know, the major consoles and what have you. I mean, you know, people like Machinima and IGN and all those big channels as well. It kind of begs the question, well, where does the game capture, you know, where does it go from here? How can we be able to present our gameplay in the way we used to do on the PS3 console? But
only if there's still, sorry to interrupt me, mate. Only if there's still an interest from the public. You know, people watch YouTube videos, they want to see Beyond Two Souls on PS3, they want to see Xbox 360 games that are made next year, or they want to see Grand Theft Auto. I mean, that's the biggest current generation console game that's going to come out, and everybody and his dog is going to buy that game. And games like that, excuse me, will keep your YouTube channels alive. If you are a PS3 or an Xbox 360 gamer on YouTube, games like that will keep it alive. But if I end up getting a PS4, I'm not thinking in terms of my YouTube channel. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, even more so. I mean, it's, you know, it's not just keeping the whole game capture thing alive; it's keeping the console alive as well. You know, and I think it's going to be an obvious statement to say that, you know, there's going to be like a shitload of content with Grand Theft Auto 5 once it's released.
Don't realise people who do YouTube gaming videos, it's not just about just like, say you have a team deathmatch on Saint Crossing in Battlefield 3.
Mm-hmm.
When that map for that game first comes out, and that you see your first gameplays, you're going to get plenty of views. But then people don't just want to see another match of Saint Crossing team deathmatch. You know, they don't want to just keep watching that. They want to see different things. You know, and this sharing function to me seems like something where you can only share your gameplays, your direct gameplays, you know, your basic gameplays, and that's not what we YouTubers are just interested in when it comes to game capture It's about being creative, and it's like me, I like to compose my own music. you know, and I put that with my video games and things like that, you know, do mods. It doesn't look to me like I'd be able to do that with PS4 or Xbox One, you know. So, you know, I mean, it's like I can't get excited for Battlefield 4 because, you know, if the PS4 wasn't coming out, it'd be an obvious choice on the PS3. But I'm not going to get it for the PS3. I'll probably play the open beta, but I'm not going to get it for the PS3 because I know it's going to be better on PS4.
Right.
Well, I mean, shit on YouTube, you know, I probably won't be able to do it like I want to.
Well, I mean, you know, there are a quota of people who doesn't even have a YouTube channel, so it's not even really going to even apply to them. So, you know, with all the nuts and bolts and, you know, and the bells and whistles that's going to be on this console, it's just going to be like, you know, a dream come true for a lot of people who are going to go into the next gen consoles, you know, not YouTube channel minded, you know what I'm saying? So they're not really going to care one way or the other, but it's definitely the people who have got their channels up and running, and even the people that's actually started now in preparation for PS4, not knowing that it's not going to be the case for PS4. It's going to be very limited in relation to PS4.
You know, build up your channel. Say if you've got a YouTube channel now and it's starting to tick along nicely, you're getting 10 subscribers one week, then 20 the next, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing, depending on, obviously, if people like your content. You know, by the time the PS4 and the Xbox One are at the height of the popularity, there's no point posting PS3 and Xbox 360 gameplays because people are not interested, you know? So,
well, in relation to, still keeping it on the game capture theme and the availability that the console gives us, I understand that you know, within the 15 minutes of gameplay that we are allowed to have at any one time to upload at one time, that you're able to upload to Facebook. Now, my thing with Facebook is that, you know, a lot of people has it, some people don't have it, some people don't wish to have it. Some people are very anti-Facebook because of the negativity that can come with it as well. I have a Facebook account. It doesn't really matter to me either way because, you know, I'm a public figure anyway. So for people to know that I play computer games and things like that is no great shakes for me. But I mean, it was interesting to have a conversation with Fight Night's Finest the other day, and he basically stated with the whole Facebook thing that, you know, he's not into Facebook. He's not really into the availability of one's real name and, you know, details and things like that. That accompanies that. And one very good point that he made was that even before the whole Facebook thing, you know, you can still get into a situation on a social setting where you're more or less basically being trolled, do you know what I'm saying, and being bullied and things like that. Now, being bullied and being punked, I must state, from my perspective, is two different things. But there is a situation where you can go into a Battlefield lobby and you're a new player, but you really want to get into the franchise and get into the game, and then you have like 7 seasoned players there, and straight away it's like they're basically thinking, well, he's a noob, so, you know, of course he can't play well and this and that, and he's treated like that. And that can have a devastating experience for that person who wants to get into the game and not only be turned off by the game, but actually be turned off by the actual genre of the game. And that's without Facebook, and that's without any social media content that is coupled with the gamer. So you can imagine what would happen, you know, with a particular gamer whose details are known to all the world and sundry. Do you know what I mean? And for me, it's like it's a very touchy thing to kind of deal with. But just like everything else, I just think it's just something that you have to kind of deal with. Sorry, you have to kind of deal with and extract the bad and just kind of utilize the good with the people who you are playing with and with the friends base that you have in your PSN account. What says you?
I was just going to say that, you know, when it comes to who it is a good idea for Sony and Microsoft to share their gameplay videos with, it seems like YouTube is very low down the pecking order. But for me, YouTube is the biggest medium for watching YouTube, you know, for gaming videos. You know, so I think because YouTube and Sony are not connected, you know, it's like they've got a deal going with, was it Ustream?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna come back to that. I was gonna come back to Ustream after this point here, but it was just basically based upon the whole Facebook social media thing. I mean, what do you feel? What do you feel within the whole Facebook thing? The
Facebook thing for me, I have a link to my Facebook page, but I don't utilise it properly because I don't really, to be honest, I don't really understand it that well. I'm not going to open a Twitter account just to help my YouTube account because I don't see the point in Twitter. I really don't.
But moving on to streaming, which I know a lot of people are very interested in. Now, for me, I have an Elgato, as I stated from the beginning. My subscription base is not that great. And they recently mentioned the fact that they were tying in with YouTube to facilitate live streaming. But I was under the impression that I was just able to just basically just press the stream button and off I go. But there's a stipulation that you got to have like 1,000 subscribers for that to enable your live.
That makes sense because that's why I don't get into the streaming thing for two reasons. The internet connection is not that great, and the fact that I've got just over 100 subs, you know, and if I'm going to do a live stream or something, I'd have to have a really good following, you know, and people, I'd only do that even if I had a really good following. I'd only do it on the understanding that people were demanding it, people were wanting to see it. Come on, Pemby, let's see you play Fight Night Champion, let's see you play Battlefield. You know, the demand was there, you know, you'd go out your way.
But it's not going to matter now because, you know, I'm assuming because with the PS4,
you get interest purely because it's a brand new thing.
Yeah, but no. But what I'm saying is that the PS4 are basically going to facilitate live streaming via Ustream. You know, so I don't know at this point, you know, what the stipulations are in relation to how many, you know, because it's not even a case of having X amount of subs, is it? It's just a case where, you know, you just set up your channel and you just basically live stream. Do you know what I mean? And you can do that on your own with nobody watching with Ustream. You know, so from a gaming standpoint, you know, I don't think it's going to be any different. Whereas with what Elgato was doing with YouTube, there were stipulations with YouTube. So that gives me the indication that the whole YouTube thing is going to be even more distant with the PS4 than it was before with the PS3. So, you know, with streaming, you know, I've got to be honest with you, is that I was fired up for it. I was really hyped up for it, but then going through the whole mechanics of the thing and just the way I present my videos is like, you know, the one thing that I found that was good about streaming, utilizing Twitch and XSplit, was the fact that I can vision mix. You know, I could put my images and put my music up and basically separate them into different scenes and what have you, and just vision mix like how, you know, TV stations vision mix their stuff. Do you know what I mean? I really thought that was a good addition to the whole streaming experience. But I can't just stream something that just cuts straight into a game and says, hi, this is blah blah blah. You know, I just like my things to have a beginning, a middle and an end, you know. And with Twitch and with XSplit, I was able to do that, but it just kind of wore off because there was a little bit too much effort to put into it, even though, you know, to only get like around 3 or 4 viewers, when really you could just literally put a pre-recorded video and gameplay up and you stand to basically get, you know, hundreds if not thousands of views a day. You know what I mean? So you know, so it was all kind of relative to me. But in relation to the streaming thing with PS4, it's not really something that I'm really interested in. But having said that, I think a lot of people is going to go into the whole streaming thing as a way of getting a lot of footage up on the net. Well, but it won't go through YouTube,
that's where the competition's going to be then. It's not gonna who can get up the latest gameplay video. It's gonna who can, you know, have the most popular stream. Seems like it to me.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. And because everyone is on the same tip, you know, it's kind of like going backwards in terms of programming, because back in the day, it's like if you wanted to watch a particular program, you know, if you wanted to watch the news at 10, you'd have to basically sit in front of your TV at 10 o'clock to watch the news. But now they have rolling news where you can watch the news at any time of the day or night. Same with music. You can have your listen back feature. You can have all of that where you know you have your iPlayer where you can watch, you know, 7 days worth of content previously, you know, and you can watch it anytime you want to watch it. It's like you having the element of choice as to what you watch. Yeah, I said that right. Yeah, what you watch, when you watch,
you want to watch it,
how you want to watch it. Do you know what I mean? You know, because it's now gone into the how you want to watch it with tablets and smartphones and things like that. So I think, you know, with the whole live streaming thing, you know, you have to be really, really popular, first of all, and second of all, you've got to have content that people are really gonna make time. So say, for example, you know, if Machinima and IGN development team or their TV staff does a battlefield tournament, that'll be worth watching. Do you know what I mean? As a live stream.
Oh, dead right, would yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and that would make sense. But for me and you to have like a Fight Night Champion fight is like, you know.
Yeah, well, you first start playing the game on your PS4. Hello, I'm Pemby66. I don't know how to play this. Turn up in the drone, aren't they?
Exactly.
They say, well, that's what the game looks like. Let's find another channel.
Right. So I mean, you know, having said all of that, I think, you know, we've more or less kind of covered all the aspects of game capturing within the PS4 as it stands at this very moment, without even getting.
It seems to me that my PS4, if I get one, I'll record my videos from the HDMI output, you know, as I've described in my Bandicam videos. I'll still be able to record my PS4, but those videos will not be able to shared with anybody, because I think they'll impose restrictions on doing that. But at least they'll be on my hard drive and I can watch them myself. But you know, it's like alarm bells are ringing for me, you know, with this share button thing. Yeah.
In closing, we can only say this, you know, there is excitement for the PS4. There is excitement for the next gen consoles, you know, Xbox One included. No matter what you want to say, people are going to buy the Xbox One regardless of what anybody has to basically say. It's not a console v console thing. It's just an issue of game capturing, you know, that relates to all of us that basically loves gaming and has a gaming channel. Whether you have 1 subscriber or 2 million subscribers, it applies to every single one of us, how it's going to be implemented and how much is going to be implemented to who. But it is something just to, you know, to look towards and see what is going to happen. I'm still hyped and I'm still excited about getting the PS4, but as a person who has a channel and who game captures, you know, it's something to think about. The questions are being asked, you know, a lot, and they're going to be asked even more so come close to the release date of the console. So I'm just hoping that certain things are made available to us as people who put up gaming channels and things like that. But who knows, you know, I could be talking in the wind, you know, and they could just stand firm with what they basically want to do. But what I advise is that, you know, please be careful, you know, don't get caught up in what other people plan to do in getting around the situation, because you know everything that you spent a lot of time building up can come crashing down around you sake of one video. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to see that happen to nobody. You know?
No, it's like you could record your own videos the way I do from PS4 or Xbox One, and do your commentary, finish your video, and think to yourself, what the fuck am I doing a commentary for? Nobody's going to bloody hear it.
Right, exactly. So, you know, so we wait and we see. And with that, I'm going to close this discussion now. And obviously any updates will be featured, you know, on my channel, Pemby's channel, you know, whoever's channel that we are influenced by, and we can relay it back to you guys, and it will be what it will be. So until such time, is adios, cheerio from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Catch you guys later. Whatever you do, happy gaming. We're out of here.
Cheers. Thanks for listening.
Peace.